Go with me to Proverbs 29. God did this stuff before. You and I have to come into an understanding that purpose is what brought us here. That's important. You need to understand that. I don't care how you got here, if you're the product of incest or rape or if you're a weekend pass like baby like I am, or your parents loved each other. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how your physical body got here. You need to understand by the word of God that God had a reason for bringing you into this earth. God invested in you, developed you, put gifts in you, talents in you, and set you up like dominoes, set us up in particular places so that as we would lean when our time came, we would kick off a reaction that would ultimately show the glory of God. See, if you don't know you're somebody, you'll do what nobody's do. And I don't mean to look down on anybody saying that. That's hyperbole to get you to understand. If you don't understand that God has something for you to do, and that purpose is what brought you here, whether your parents knew it or not. If you don't understand that there is something about you that shows the divine spark of God, if you don't get that, I don't care nothing about what you look like, or shaped like, or tall or skinny, or whatever. I don't know if I care about that. Listen, what I'm saying is, you got to be deeper than that to see that there's something about you that shows God when you do it. It's going to be made of shittim wood. That's just the funniest thing I could say right now. I just cannot even go any further on where I want to go with that. He said, but it's going to be made of wood, but I'm going to overlay it with gold. And then I'm going to put showbread on. He said, you don't know this. He said, but at your best, you ain't nothing but wood. Shittim wood. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. He said, but the blessing is, because of grace, I've overlaid you with gold. Oh my God. I know my base material ain't much, but because of what Jesus did on the cross, I now am covered in his righteousness. Oh Lord Jesus. Woo. Tell somebody, say, I'm glad for the gold. I didn't want to keep looking. I know where my Bible scholars, you'll love this, you know this. The word purpose is showbread. Prothesis. Showbread. All things work together for good to them that love God, who are the called according to their purpose. Their showbread. So now I understand the transliteration of the word is now showbread is purpose. So now let's back up. My purpose is before God. But I done messed up, and I had this, and I did the other, and I done screwed that person, and I did wrong to this one, and I didn't file this, and I messed up. I had kids out of wedlock, and I did this, and I did that. God said, keep the showbread before me. Always. Your purpose is before God. Always. Now, as a tidbit, I ain't got to rush with this. Give me Romans 11:29. You can be gifted in something and doing a lot of good stuff. But if you were all the way over as a child of God, as a priest of God, knowing that your life is supposed to glorify God, not only would you be doing what's in you to do, but Jesus would be seen. And let me tell you something. It's so fulfilling to live and do what you know we called to do. And everybody ain't going to preach. Some folk, if they called to the family, they called to minister to their family, have their church there, they do stuff in their neighborhood. Keep it moving. Somebody else, man, they're called. They're physical. They can do it. They're good at every sport. They enjoy it. And God will use that to save people. Whatever your purpose is, your showbread, it ain't going to come into its fullness until you give your life to Jesus. God says, keep showbread before me. How often? Showbread is for who only? I saw one thing, man, had this thing, the thing fell over, it hit a sheet of paper, the paper twisted, hit this thing, and a ball started rolling. The ball went up and down, and then it hit. You have to understand, sometimes God has something for you to do and a place for you to do it in that requires he tilts your piece. Oh, God. And I know we don't like it, but sometimes we got to have the big ball roll and hit us in order to move us into what we need to do so that we can fall over on the right one and keep oh, God. You'll see it later on, but our power, our purpose, knowing that you have a purpose will change you, but when our purposes come together, it changes the world. He said, before I ever formed you, I knew you. Before you came out of the womb, I'd already sanctified you and ordained you a prophet. Isn't that what Ephesians 2 said? He says, I ordained you to walk in certain things. I have a purpose for you. I have a plan for you. And if nobody in here has ever been told by somebody in your life, let me be the first. You have a divine purpose from God. You are special to God. You are a part of the plan of God. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care what you've done. I don't care who you did it to. All of it is a part of this. God said, I ordained you. In other words, if God, who is spirit, took a selfie, it would be Jesus. All right? So get this. The thoughts of God were made flesh, and that's Jesus. We see the love, we see the righteousness, we see the purpose, we see all the things. Jesus is the Word made flesh. Jesus is what? I need you to say it like I said it. Jesus is the Word. Right. And watch this. And you are a Word. You are a Word made flesh. Get me Jeremiah 1 verse 9. Come on, if you don't sleep on this, you're going to get something. I can't finish I can't do it all, but this is what I need you to understand. God had something on his mind when he made you. Are you fulfilling it? God had something on his mind when he made you. I don't care if you're 80. I don't care if you're 12. He had something on his mind. I don't care what you've done, because showbread stays before him. Always. Are you giving God? Are you doing what you were called to do? Are you leading your family like he put it in you to? Some of y'all have things you hate. You just hate. You can't stand to see certain things. Name out some of them. You can't stand to see what? People mistreated. Can't stand to see kids mistreated. Can't stand to see fatherless kids. Low self-esteem. I'm talking about something that almost keeps you up at night. You can't stand it. What? Homeless. Abuse. People what? People that ain't got nothing to eat. Yeah, that's beat up right there. You think God put that in you to care about? For just no reason?